We've got some breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. The American Athletic Conference announcing this morning the official addition of 6 programs, and they all come from Conference USA. UAB, Florida Atlantic, Charlotte, Rice, North Texas, and Texas San Antonio, making the AAC a 14-member conference for football and basketball. They were looking to expand after losing 3 programs, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF, with their intentions to join the Big 12. Again, there's the list of the new members expected there to join and announced today. Lose 3, gain 6, now a total of 14 in the AAC. All right, let's bring in our Dennis Dodd, who's been all over this story right now. Dennis, what more can you tell us about today's announcement?
Well, Tommy, the reason this happened is obviously with the American being rated by the Big 12, those 3 schools, they had to do something. And as soon as the Mountain West said last week and then reiterated really a couple days ago, they're going to stand pat, that this really left the American in a bind. You know, what were they going to do? The Mountain West wasn't going to reach out and take any of the teams in the American. They weren't going to take any teams in Conference USA. So this was a bold move by Mike Oresco to go to 14. The industry sources really can't figure out why. They think that 12 or 10 may have been more strategic, in that the Conference USA schools make about $500,000 in revenue per year from their media rights agreement, and that's being charitable. The reason I think this was able to happen and convince the other 8 schools in the American is that they get to keep their revenue as it is, and we don't know exactly what it is. They took a huge hit from $7 million after they lost those 3 schools to the Big 12. But I've been told by multiple sources the 6 schools in Conference USA now will either get no return on investment from where they are now or be graduated over time into what the American teams are getting, which is going to be about $2 or $3 million per year, according to industry sources. So that's the reason it happened. I think ADs in the American were concerned about, why do we need 14 mouths to feed? It's because they're not going to have to feed those other 6 mouths very much, at least in the beginning. So they get a presence, or a return to a presence in Texas. The American does. Maybe this was a strategic maneuver to keep the Mountain West out of Texas. But as I said, the Mountain West had already decided it was going to stand pat with those 12 schools. Okay, some very interesting thoughts there, looking at the financials with the programs now joining the American. What about more fallout? Because there's tiers to this, right, Dennis? Obviously, yes. We talk about the Power 5, the Group of 5, most notably with the American. But what about now Conference USA and the Sun Belt and other leagues that we haven't mentioned yet? Yeah, Sun Belt's got leverage now. They're probably going to have to do something to shore up their membership. And it really becomes a question now of, is Conference USA going to continue to be an FBS conference? You know, they're going to be down, they're down to 8 members now. They may be down to as many as 6 if Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss go to the Sun Belt, which has been widely reported and rumored. And I don't know how many people know this, but you need 6 teams to qualify for the basketball tournament in the NCAA, and that's huge to get that revenue every year. So Conference USA is going to have to do something. The problem is there are not many options, at least on the FBS level. I reported yesterday, that look for Liberty and James Madison to take a serious look at Conference USA, or vice versa. James Madison, a power from FCS, Liberty, the independent in Lynchburg, Virginia, and to take a serious look. And they may join that conference within 2 weeks. I know Liberty's very interested in that. And is that, enough to keep going? Or do they dip down into FCS further? A lot of talk about into the Southland Conference, which is one of the best FCS conferences out there, the likes of Sam Houston State and schools like that. So it's now on Conference USA to really, stay a conference. Sun Belt probably going to grow by 2 or 4. And at that point, is Conference USA continue to be a conference? All right, we'll continue to keep tabs. We know Dennis Dodd will be all over. Dennis, certainly appreciate it as always, again, with the news today. The American making that known, that 6 more from Conference USA joining its ranks in the American Athletic Conference. This will be discussed on the Cover 3 podcast. Download and follow the guys today, and keep tabs with Dennis Dodd on the very latest on CBSSports.com.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.